Democratic National Party held their convention. A lot of people eating it up, throwing their hands in the air like they just don't care damn near. So it's what I didn't hear is what's in it for us? What's in it for the black community besides the same old thing we've been getting from these parties? What's in it for us, for real? I didn't hear anybody mention a contract with Black America. And I don't know why, because it's one of the most comprehensive reform documents that's come about in a long time that could really address the problem. The way it look, they don't have a plan. Everybody's, talking about get Trump out, get Trump out, get Trump out. If you vote, that's going to happen on the first day. So now what? Trump out, now what? What do we get in the first 100 days? That's what we're trying to figure out. What do we actually get that they could give us overnight like that? They just pulled $3 trillion out their ass and gave it to their friends. That's American taxpayer money. That's your money that they just gave away. And then there's 42% of black businesses closing. None of that money. Where's our fucking bailout? Where's the bailout? Not the PPP loan that they didn't give us. Where's the bailout? I don't want to hear about deficit. I don't want to hear about what our generations gonna have to pay. Because if we don't have shit, they ain't gonna have shit anyway to pay nothing. So we gotta start something right now. Democrats don't seem like they got a plan. Republicans don't seem like they got a plan for us. So how the hell you gonna vote for them? Make them earn that vote. They can start today. They ain't got it yet. They can start today. Make their ass earn that vote, man. Stop playing with these people, and they'll stop playing with you.
You know that ADOS has been pushing politics, and you know that Ice Cube has been pushing his black contract. ADOS LA, shout out to y'all, have connected this. And we submitted some changes to the reparations section along with some addendums to other parts just this weekend that Cube is reviewing. We've been working on trying to get that check that Martin Luther King demanded so long ago. I feel like for a lot of people, what has happened is while we're trying to get a check for ADOS black Americans that went through slavery and Jim Crow, other people's agenda is something else entirely.
We've actually been able to move the needle in California, and we want to move the needle nationwide. And, I believe our mission is aligned. And so it's good to, have folks in the trenches who have been doing the work every day. This is what we've been looking to do. Meet with people who are experts in these fields and connect the dots. And then from there, push politicians and push people who can make it happen, even in the private sector. So
before we get into the actual discussion, what I want to do is commend Cube on being part of the whole discussion as far as reparations and everything that we did with AB 3121, because I think what happened was AB 3121 led to an awakening that reparations is the ultimate answer because it repairs so much economically and socially. Part of when I look at this discussion, what people don't see, what people don't unpack, is we're not talking about billions, we're talking about trillions. And we're not talking about a gift, we're talking about a debt. That is a fundamental difference than what is being asked for by any other group. We built America, then we're shut out of America, then built upon by America. And one of the things that I really liked about your plan, despite my criticisms, was the fact that you recognize that truth, the American descendant of slavery part of this thing. Now, of course, there need to be fixes, but one of the things that I do commend you on is what you did in terms of AB 3121. With that, a lot of people don't know, in the last few weeks, ADOS here in Los Angeles and in California were able to reach out to you, and you were able to make connections with the governor to push him to, in the direction of probably where he was going already, but push him over the hump to get him to sign that bill. And I just want to say I commend you.
What I found is that it's systems in place, as we all know. It ain't because, we ain't doing what we supposed to do as black people, because, of course, we all can do better. There's shit that we need to do to clean up ourselves and our community, but besides that shit, the system is fucked up. It's just designed totally. And not only designed, but there's a dedication to keeping us at the bottom of this country. And I don't know if we can count on any parties to get us about the shit, to be honest. So we are gonna have to do a lot of things different as a black community. We have to pool our resources. We have to think about ourselves. We love all the other races of the world, but at some point we gotta figure out how do we get ahead, because everybody's on top of us but us. It's just designed that I can't see the future. So we gotta change this shit. Everybody's been mad at me because I haven't been on the gravy train of these candidates, especially Joe Biden and Harris. I don't trust none of them. No president has done right by us.
Thanks for having me. Chris, your lead-ins are a little misleading.
How so?
Well, the Platinum Plan is not my plan. I came up with the Contract with Black America, and I didn't run to go work with any campaign. Both campaigns contacted me. Both campaigns wanted to talk to me about the Contract with Black America. One campaign said, "We love what you have, but let's really dig into it after the election." And one campaign said, "We love what you have. Do you mind talking to us about it?" And that's what I did. So I didn't run to nobody. And so that was real misleading to me.
I didn't say you ran to anybody. I said that you had taken a pivot.
Well, you said I ran over to the Trump team instead of the Biden team. That's just not true. I'm just working with whoever is willing to work with me. So the Trump campaign came to me and asked me to explain to them some of the Contract with Black America. That's what I did. I'm not playing no more of these games, these political games. We're not part of a team. We have very broad problems, especially the wealth gap in this country when it comes to Black Americans. So I'm going to whoever's in power, and I'm gonna speak to them about our problems specifically. I'm not going there talking about minorities. I'm not going there talking about people of color or diversity or none of that stuff. I'm going there for Black Americans, the ones who are the descendants of slaves. And that's what I'm going to talk to anybody who's in power with that. So if anybody got a problem with that, it seems like a personal problem. Hold on, I'm an independent person, and I believe that's what Black people need to do, is become independent, and we need to get something for our vote.
So we got these blue check Black women. We got a few blue check Black men even. And they're running around having this dialogue about Ice Cube, about him being this and that, and Trump and everything else, but a lot of them ain't getting honest. Roxanne Gay, let's start off with her. She came out, I believe she said something about from MAGA to NWA. She doesn't tell you the whole story though. She doesn't tell you that she went to high school at Exeter, almost all white, $60,000 a year, boarding school. I don't know what you know about NWA, but I know you don't learn it at Exeter. She don't tell you that she's not ADOS and how that plays a role, and whether we need to be dividing this way. Everybody wants to say ADOS is divisive, but is this black female talk divisive? We got Jason Johnson. This is a male. You know, he got almost fired from MSNBC, got in trouble talking about who? Black women. But okay, he back now. He trying to make amends. So he gonna make amends by trying to attack Cube on black websites. So he puts out the article that he's attacking Cube, but he doesn't deal with the fact that in his own bio, before he changed it, I still got a copy. He said that he worked for Republicans. So Jason, you work for Republicans, but then Cube is wrong for even talking to the president. The Professor Black Crunk woman, she talking about holding back sex and all kind of weird stuff. Are black men that animalistic to you that sex is what is going to guide us? Not in 1800, but in 2020. It's so disrespectful, the tweet she put out.
Channel of Cool. Like and share and subscribe.
If this is true, because I had heard from one of my sources that you were contacted for this Zoom call with Kamala Harris, with D.L. Hughley, Snoop Dogg, you, Killer Mike. They were all on the call, and you were not on the call. And that was to speak. That was in September. And why?
I just thought that getting on a Zoom call with 12 other entertainers, all shooting what they believe needs to be done, to me wasn't going to be productive. And I was also, because my lawyer, Matt Johnson, has a connection with Kamala Harris, and I was promised a call that I never received. So, you know, that's why I didn't feel like I wanted to be on that Zoom call. So I feel like our plan is so broad that you can't talk about it with 12 other people who had nothing to do with it.
I care about what's in this contract with Black America for women, and it's not, we're not mentioned at all in the contract with Black America. And
you are mentioned. I mean, when you mention black people, you mentioning black women. So don't count yourself out.
No, that's not true.
That's like administrations say that when they
black people is not black women. Black
true.
Women are not included in black people.
No,
But
that's like, you know, that's like he's saying. That's like when the president says minorities, then he's including black people. But we all know that that's not the case. Black women have specific needs that are not also being met. And we also feel that there should be some things that are specific to us and our plight as well. And
I understand that.
I feel like as a black man, you can lead.
No,
I feel like
I just offered y'all to write a section up for it. I just said I don't mind if you guys help us. If you guys help us write a section. No, I've been open to all kind of experts in putting this together. It wasn't just me. We dealt with experts in all fields of this contract with Black America. So we're willing to deal with experts in the section when it comes to women. So that's no problem.
Okay,
I'll help you write it. I'll help you write it. I'll write it up.
So like,
I'll write up the black woman's part of the contract for you.
Good. We have 200
how many words do y'all want it to be? The thing is, you guys are the experts, but here we go again. You just want to talk. Nobody want to help me. Just want to talk. But y'all the experts on black women, so why won't y'all help me? See, that's the problem.
I can tell you why.
On the Channel of Cool.
asked the question. These black women went out and asked this question and said in so many words, why did Cube not take a meeting with Snoop Dogg and Kamala? Well, I'll just tell you from the inside that that meeting isn't what Cube was looking for. He's looking for a policy meeting. That was an optics meeting. If you don't know the difference, go look at it, because Snoop didn't vote until this election. So somebody that didn't vote to this election isn't somebody who's talking about policy. You know, they got the hashtag blame black men. The hashtag was a direct statement about the disrespect that's going on to blame black men for the failure of the white vote. And they want to blame us for Trump. Trump is the direct creation of the white vote. From the Tea Party to the Electoral College. They don't know enough. These young women that are supposed to be professors need to step out of just learning about intersectionalism and learn about the Electoral College, learn about mass incarceration, and then speak.
And this is what I was talking about a second ago in terms of George Floyd. People miss stuff. The persistence of those stereotypes influenced practically every institution, the stereotypes about black men, that could have helped George Floyd as he came of age. When drug crises ripped through black communities, they resulted in the Rockefeller drug laws in the 1970s. The 1986 Anti-Drug Abuse Act that stiffened sentences, as well as the 1994 crime bill, which funded at least $9 billion to build more prisons. Stay with me though. But multiple studies have shown the long neglect to fund the job training and drug treatment and education process they promised. So hold on. Here's the kicker. It says, for example, the 1994 law promised $2.7 billion to the Department of Housing and Urban Development over 3 years for such programs, but federal review shows lawmakers never sent the agency the money. So when you hear Joy Reid say, well, you know, black lawmakers voted for it too, and da-da-da-da-da-da. Yes, they voted for this $2.7 billion too, right? For housing and urban development, because these were drug programs and drug housing and stuff like that. And they were promised to get more down the line. Guess what? It never happened. It was in the bill, never happened. Unfunded mandates, never happened. But I'm saying that we have to be honest about the promises that were made to those black lawmakers and promises that were never fulfilled in terms of treatment. That's Bill Clinton, that's your man's. How long are we going to do this? How long are we going to go down this path and let people promise us stuff that we never get and we never hold them accountable? How long are we going to do that? You promised this money to us and you never gave it. If you read the article, there was a black man who started a treatment program for black men, and he couldn't find the funding because he was robbed of it, because that stuff never trickled down. That's part of George Floyd's story though. That's part of his life, and that's part of his struggle. And that's part of our politics. Let me tell you, unless we start holding people accountable, that's going to continue to happen. They're going to continue to say, yeah, you know what? It's in the bill. It's in the bill. We're going to put it in there. And then it's never going to come to us. Politicians respond to pressure, not applause.
So I'm looking at this discussion, and we're not talking about the incarceration data. We're not dealing with a normal incarceration rate. And one of the highest incarceration rates we've seen in the modern world was during apartheid for South African men. It was 800 per 100,000. But we look at black men, and they're at working age black men are somewhere between 6,000 and 8,000 per 100,000. When we look at income, I made this point before New York Times. Just recently in June, they finally corroborated it with an article. In that article, what they show is that white men are the whole dollar. White women make 73 cents on the dollar of a white man. Black men are supposed to have made 67 cents on the dollar of a white man. Black women were supposed to be at 63 cents on the dollar. Now, what they did in this article in the New York Times is take out the prisoners. All the $1 a day black men and the zeros. So you get these black men fighting fires for $2 a day. You don't want to count them as wages, but they work today. So when you add them in, black men make 51 cents on the dollar of a white man. 12 cents less than a black woman.
With all that being said, question. When did we get so socially engineered to claim Democrat, aka Democrat? We have to start thinking outside the box. That way of tribalism never worked in our favor. In fact, it ran folks off. Do you feel things progressed over the years, or did it get worse? Sure, Trump ain't qualified, but I can show you more who wasn't. Clinton disrespected his power and lied about it. Pandered with the saxophone. Obama, he gave you Obamacare, and then what? More lies, and in my opinion, sat on the black delegation's needs, and we allowed it because he was our first black president. The sucker symbolism again. But was he our first black president, or just an immigrant with an economical backing from his parents? All I would suggest is, yes, do your research on these politicians. Find out their past and see what they think about your agenda. And have an agenda. All the other delegations have demands. We should too. My opinion, we have an opportunity to possibly create our own political party. I believe that if the entire black delegation, or at least half of the Democrats, join ADOS, I believe we can really inflict real change for the black delegation. Yvette once said, and I'm paraphrasing of course, we may not reap the benefits of the work we'll put in for reparations, but the future will seem promising. Can you imagine our future generations not having to deal with none of the current ills that plague us? This is why we need to become more educated, or we'll be swayed by posts like this and be moved by political pundits and their sucker symbolism. You don't want that. We don't want that as a party. Demand your reparations.